On to hear from Rachel Nickel coming up next, and I'm pretty interested in this. I'm a gardener myself, so I want to hear about these roses.
Hello. Hello. 2 years ago, I moved here from Los Angeles and I bought a house. And with that house, I got a yard. The problem is, I have a very black thumb. A yard is not a good thing for me. So I went to a nursery and got a nice plan and started to enact the plan by hiring someone from the nursery to plant stuff for me. So as he was planting all the hostas, hydrangeas, and mums, he was telling me how he only plants roses in his garden because they grow so well in New Mexico. Everything died, except for one thing. I inherited these old rose bushes from a prior owner who was quite the gardener. These rose bushes had not been very well cared for at all. Many had been gardened by chainsaw, yet they were thriving and producing these gorgeous, fragrant blooms. And I realized I might be able to do this. I decided then to move to the front of the house where there's more light, and I was going to put in a yellow rose bed. I wanted to do something patriotic with my house, and that would be my yellow ribbons. I started this project in the fall, so there wasn't much variety to be had. So I ended up with 2 Julia Childs, a Floribunda. And then after that, I added in the center, or maybe not. I did add in the center at some point a starlight or a starfire. I don't know the name of it because the tag fell off, and I don't remember. But on a whim, I also picked up a 4th of July, which is a climbing rose, to climb up the front trellis of my porch, again in that sort of patriotic theme. Flush with success, I joined the Albuquerque Rose Society to learn more about roses and decided that I had to have a white rose bed next to the walkway. There is another old bush there that had been planted by that former owner that made another Floribunda that made white roses. So I started with a JFK, a nod to my Boston roots, that's a hybrid tea. Many people suggested I should put Marilyn Monroe next to JFK, but I rejected that idea because I don't think that's appropriate. Honor, another hybrid tea, ended up next to JFK. I will admit I did look at Marilyn Monroe. It's a gorgeous flower, but a little steely colored for my taste, for my nice white rose bed. After that, I added the Kiss and Tell, an apricot blush mini rose. And you might say, Rachel, this is your white rose bed. What is that doing there? And I would say, reading and comprehension is not always my strongest skill set. And at the end is another Floribunda called White Simplicity. It's a really gorgeous flower. Iceberg didn't quite make it. When I was pulling it out of its pot to plant it, the root ball fell apart. And I tried to salvage it, but no luck. So right now, it's a little stick that looks like this. While I was doing this, my mother suggested that I get a Double Delight, her favorite rose. And this is a red and white bloom. So of course, I now needed a red rose bed. Must move on to next to the driveway. So I ended up having to put this bloom in, this Double Delight in. But the problem was I discovered that a prior owner had put in a lot of layers of rock and weed guard and hard packed it. So to get to this point involved 3 weeks using a pickaxe. But then I got to add in my lovely hot cocoa. It smells gorgeous, lovely orangey brown. But again, you might say, Rachel, orangey brown, red rose bed. Red enough for me, leave me alone. Okay. Next is Veterans Honor. This is a red hybrid tea, and it is red, don't argue with me. You might notice now that this rose bed is actually coming together a little better because the white rose bed, I had the 2 hybrid teas, a Floribunda, a mini rose, and then a Floribunda. This is a Dolly Parton, which is another red hybrid tea. Now, the thing is, you notice there's a little more balance. I'm staggering them because instead of buying things at the beginning of the season, like I did with the white rose bed, and having to just hope I got stuff that I wanted, I bought everything at once. That is showbiz. And planted them staggered. So I've got a Floribunda, hybrid tea, and Floribunda. But there was even more planning going on because my head let me put a Dolly Parton between Double Delight and Showbiz. Okay. But the problem, of course, still is, this is my backyard 2 years later. I think I still have some work to do. Thank you.
I'm going to have to go look up Floribunda and hybrid tea. I really don't know what those are.